Hey guys, welcome to the Zapata Brand Podcast, Boxing and Bagels edition, brought to you by Ringside. Go to ringside.com/podcast, and you too can get upwards of 40% off selected brands. Well, last night was not boxing, but MMA, UFC 305, and I will give you an update as to what happened and the results of the main event. Israel Adesanya trying to recapture the championship from DDP, Dracus Duplessis. And that took place in Perth, Australia, which is it was a hell of a trip for them to make. But before we get to that, I got a couple things I want to get done house cleaning wise. These last few weeks in the town of Berwick, a little town of Berwick that we live in and call home, has been hit with a few major tragedies. A couple in the last few days, but one that's been going on for a little bit, and finally they've got a GoFundMe up for this family, and that family is the Nespoli family. If you see there, that's Jonathan in the middle, his wife to his left, and his left arm, that's Kim, his daughter Lily, and his two twin boys, Jack and Jet. Kim has been diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and if anybody knows how that goes, it's pretty painful. It is spread a little bit. However, there is hope, but the problem is it is far away in Arizona. We live in Berwick, Pennsylvania. So what I'm asking my audience here, I got over 2,200 subscribers, I think, or 2,100. I don't know the exact number. If you could give anything, if everyone give $1 to the GoFundMe, that would be, $2,000 to the thing. They need $180,000. This town, Jonathan is a staple in this town, but Kim more so is like a cornerstone in this town. She's a secretary at the Salem Elementary School District. If you call there's never someone who's more polite, always takes care of business. And she actually worked for me after 9/11. She was an airline stewardess. She was laid off. She came here to work for me. I could not say anything better about her. She is one of the nicest people we've had here working ever. Tremendous girl, always in a good mood. Obviously a beautiful young lady. And I think it's time that we step up a little bit for them. 180,000 is a lot of money in a town like Berwick. No one makes that kind of money. Maybe few and far between that they can afford that. The problem I have here on this is, she has health care. She has good health care. She works in the school district. I know I have the health care that my wife does, and she's a teacher. Not saying that it's their fault, but how is it that the health system is so bad that someone with 3 children, a young girl, I think she's 40, but I don't think she is. She might be 40, 41, right around there. But somebody who is so young, has so many kids, and they won't cover something like this is amazing. Now, I get the travel. I get all that. That's what I get all that. But the fact that that this is such an exorbitant amount of money to have to shell out to a regular person. Jonathan owns a jewelry store down the street, so he works very hard. So now, as a small business owner, Jonathan has to now leave his business. I know he's taking appointments over the phone. You can go down there. It's Nespoli Jewelers, right down the street here from where I'm at. Go there, support your local jeweler. Not to take anything away from Walkers. If you prefer Walkers, it's fine. But he's a small business, and she's not being able to work. It is a difficult situation. That's why I feel it was necessary for me to put this out there in the beginning before I get into the event last night. So please, again, I'll put it up back on the screen there, and I'll put the link in the description. Kim Nespoli, you can see her there to the left. It'd be to the right of your screen, the left of Jonathan. Battling breast cancer, stage 4. But there is hope. There's hope there out in Arizona, but they do need the funds to get there. It's $180,000. I do not know what they've raised so far, but please, if you can, anything that would help them get there and make sure they can have as less stress as possible in this situation. Well, now let's turn to the main event of last night, UFC 305, and a couple of takeaways I had. DDP defeats Israel Adesanya in the 4th round, about 3:35, I believe it was, in the 4th round, 3:35, 3:38 remaining in that round. And I was, Dracus is very difficult to fight. He is a guy who, when you look at him and he has all these crazy strikes and he's off balance sometimes and he doesn't do the right things all the time. He almost looks like he's not as athletic as he should be to be the champ of the world. But he is one tough guy and he'll grit out a win. He kept coming and kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. So I thought that he was getting hurt a little bit in the round 3. I thought Israel was okay. The first round I thought was pretty much, I thought Dracus won that round. 2, I could see, and you know what? I did see that I don't think Izzy got old because he looked good. I don't think he was. I know my friend Kevin Ioli had said that, had asked Dana White, is this too many fights and he needed a break to get in between? And it could have been that, and he just needed a break because he didn't look horrible. It wasn't a point where you're like, okay, Father Time is undefeated and it caught up with Izzy. I didn't think that at all. I just think it was a matchup of a guy who is extremely tough, extremely tough. DDP is very tough, and I truly believe he's one of these guys who just finds a way to win. Still 8-0 in UFC, and his resume tremendous. I thought Izzy was doing well with the leg kicks. I thought Dracus was kind of like, man, but I thought Dracus was at a point where he was like, okay, I got to do something to defend these kicks. Kept putting the pressure on. Give him credit. He walked through them. But here's the other thing that I saw in the post-fight interview with Dracus. He said when he took his back, that Izzy had no resistance. That's the only thing that concerned me of this fight. He said he had no resistance, and it was easy after that once he got his back. Easier said than done to get the back, but it's what happened. Now, obviously, they're trying to set up Alex Pereira with him, but DDP wasn't quite sure that's what they were going to do. I think he'll fight anybody. Anybody UFC throws him, I think he'll fight some. Whether he can beat Alex Pereira or not, I don't know. I wouldn't bet against him, but I don't know if he could beat him. So where does that leave Izzy? Izzy didn't look bad. Again, I'll say it again. He didn't look bad. So it wasn't like he was an old fighter who was on his way out. Didn't look like a Pacquiao at the end of his career. Didn't look like a De La Hoya at the end of his career. He was doing well. Just made a mistake. And I didn't understand why he didn't go towards the cage when DDP got his back. He was by the cage. He should have rolled to the cage, but couldn't get his back. But he didn't. He didn't sit out. So I didn't know what was going on there. And then, I mean, he was dazed, but I'll go back to what Dracus said. He said that there was no resistance after he got his back. So maybe he was dazed enough. He didn't seem that way after the fight. But you never know. He was in the press conference, post-fight press conference. He didn't seem out of it. So that would be something I would have to probably ask Kevin about. He's way more versed at that than I am. And it was something I will get to. But coming up this week on the Zapata Brand podcast, a boxing edition on Monday, we'll have the great Mark Ratner, the former executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, current UFC vice president of regulatory affairs. He was on there. We met up 2 weeks ago in Vegas at the headquarters, and he was nice enough to come on. It was a great interview I did with him. A lot of stories about boxing, more so than UFC. Talked a little bit about the Sphere coming up, and then hopefully down the road we can do more with him. So again, this was a quick Boxing and Bagel show today. There's a lot going on here in the town of Berwick. I'm looking to get CJ Curry on, the new head coach of the Berwick Bulldogs high school team, and probably try to get him on a couple times during the year so we can do a show. It was something that happened that his grandfather, the great George Curry, did with Tim Thompson, and it's something I'd like to revitalize and have here for you guys also. It was a quick show today. I wanted to get some of that stuff out there to get it in front of you guys. Again, the GoFundMe page there, Kim Nespoli, fighting stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Please, if you guys can do anything, I don't ask for anything ever, but this is something that is very important to us here in Berwick. Again, Israel Adesanya taps out at 338 of round number 4. DDP retains the title and he moves on. Where does he go? We don't know. We'll find out in the next couple weeks. But other than that, we have a Canelo starting to come up. That stuff's going to be coming in the next couple weeks. They're going to ramp that up. Edgar Berlanga, September 14th, along with UFC Noche, September 14th. Until then, Guys, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do in yours, and I will see you next time.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand Podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.